Mexican EM asks for my seat, and when I said no, she drags me out. So this happened around a year ago when I was on a trip to Mexico with my family. I usually ride the same bus every week to a bigger part of the town so I can buy food. I have a seat that I usually sit in. It's a window seat on the bus. But then the EM came. She spoke in Spanish, so I'm putting this in English. And hey, can you change seats? My child wants that seat. Me, sorry, no. I sit here almost every week, and plus I've already chosen the seat. And well, why can't you just get up and get another seat? Me, number one, I don't want to. Number two, just pick a different seat. And well, my child wants your seat. Everyone was staring at us. Me, sorry, no. AM grabbed my hand and dragged me out of the seat and pushes her child in quickly. The bus driver stops and comes over to us. BD, what is the problem here? And this rude person stole this seat from child, and we just took it back. BD, ma'am, I know this person, and he sits here all the time, and I saw him sit here when he got on. AM looked like a fool after he said that she grabbed her child and moved one seat up. Later, after she got off, I looked at her out the windows, and she gave me death glare. I hope I never have to post here again.
And he tries to steal my wallet. I'm back with a new EP story. Let's get into it. Best son, PS. New title, douchebag. Mem education. I went out on a walk around the park. I saw a son and a father there, and I thought nothing of it. Eventually I bumped into him and I said sorry. He said okay, and it looks like he put something in his pocket. I patted myself to see if I had my wallet, and I did not have it. I should. I go up with the ED asking for my wallet, and he refused, and the dick gave it to his son, who is around 15 or 16. Then the dad went to the bathroom and BS gave it to me. I thanked him and ran off. It was a bit anticlimactic. Good day and good morrow, Redditors.
Update him entitled Mom Demands I Give Her My Driveway. Original post here. A lot of people have been asking me for an update, and I don't think it's realistic to answer all of your messages individually, so here goes. I honestly didn't take my neighbor seriously, and that was a mistake. I stayed home from work on 3/1 to make sure that my neighbor didn't try anything. The day was completely normal, so I went to work the next day. When I was pulling down my driveway, there were trucks from a pool company on the street in front of her house. I immediately regretted not taking this situation seriously, but I had to go to work, so I left and called my wife asking her to keep an eye out. About 2 hours later, my wife called telling me that the trucks had pulled onto our driveway, and a few guys had started removing the hedges that line my driveway. To give you guys an idea of what my driveway looks like, there are hedges that line the driveway all the way up to my house, which then branch out to the right and left, although they aren't the only thing separating my property from my neighbors. In my previous post, I mentioned that my house is on a hill. My neighbors' houses are lower than mine, so their backyards are lower than mine. If you were to stand on my driveway looking at my neighbor's backyard, you would be looking at a 4 to 5 foot drop. The guys were removing the hedges for easier access to my neighbor's backyard. I immediately left work and headed home. When I got there, I explained to the contractors that I had not given permission to alter my property in any way. They told me to call their office, which I did. Unfortunately, my neighbor came outside while I was on the phone with them, screaming at the guys to continue what they were doing, telling them that she owned my driveway. She started screaming in my face, telling me that I was a scumbag, that her kids needed an in-ground pool. Why should my kids have a nice pool and not her kids? Nothing she said made any real sense. I didn't really know what to say, so I just kind of stared at her while she was screaming at me. I was still on hold with the pool company anyway. She then told me that my wife's sister had told her that it was okay for her to cut down my hedges, and that was all the permission she needed. My wife is one of 5 siblings, 3 girls and 2 boys. I am really close with her brothers, but not with her sisters. They've always been weird to me. The oldest sister straight up called me a fucking book once a few years back. TBF, we were in a pretty heated argument, and the younger sister was never openly hostile towards me. but has been mooching off of me for the last 10 years and flips out on my wife if we ever say no to her. I really didn't know what to say to my neighbor at this point, so I just walked up to my house to speak to my wife. After my wife spoke to her sisters, we found out that my SIL younger has been speaking to my neighbor for the last year. She claims that she mentioned to her how the city had used eminent domain to take some of my property a few years back, but nothing more than that. I guess my neighbor thought this meant that anyone could take my property, still not following the logic here. So yeah, this situation is completely bonkers. I'm putting a fence around my property now, which I really don't want to do. The pool guys assured me that they wouldn't be returning, but my neighbor is absolutely crazy and I'm wondering what she has planned next. My wife and I were talking about moving across the country to get away from her sisters, but we didn't want to leave my mom and brother. My kids love them. I guess my neighbor made our minds up for us, so we will be moving away ASAP. If anything else happens, I'll keep you guys updated when I find some time. The general consensus seems to be that I should speak to a lawyer and the police. I'm taking the day off to speak to a lawyer tomorrow. Also, a lot of comments about what is going to happen when I sell the house. I'm going to speak to my wife about it when I get home tonight, but I don't think I'm gonna sell the house. Hopefully I can put this house up for rent. Tip 2. I met with a lawyer this morning. She spoke a lot, but it doesn't seem like she can do much. I did call the police, though. When I got home earlier today, the glass on my front door was cracked, and one of my basement windows was shattered. I checked my cameras, and my neighbor was knocking on my door for a few minutes before kicking my front door repeatedly. After she cracked the glass, she walked around to the back of my house and kicked in my basement window before running away. I called the police, and they were here in less than 5 minutes. I gave them the footage, and they went to knock on her door. I was told that I would be able to get a restraining order. I'll post an update when I find out what is going to happen to her. We are still going to move, but we are most likely going to sell the house. My wife just wants to forget this place exists, and I don't disagree. Someone tagged my posts as fake, not sure why. I made my first post because I wasn't taking my neighbors seriously, and I was kind of amused by the situation. I posted this one because a lot of you guys have been asking me for an update. I don't really want to post a picture of my driveway or house on a public site like this, so I guess believe what you want.
Check out my other marvelous videos.